All right, so here we are. This one's for you, Gemini. That's you. This is Star Illumination. This is your love and relationship report. Excuse me. For December 2017. Thank you very much. Now, you've done this before, so you know the drill. You watch for your sun and your moon and your rising, and then you squish it all together. All right? And so that you know cards were well shuffled in advance, but we shuffle to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, not even any reversals. Sorry, we try to keep it simple as possible and tell the best story that we can. Best interpretation. We're going to read for you, Gemini, understanding that, there's you, there's a significant other, and then there's the relationship itself. I like to use this crucible spread. You'll see it in just a moment. And the crucible is a structure, an entity that has its own integrity, energy, a life of its own, and that's called the relationship. Okay, and in healthy relationships, you nurture and protect and invest in the relationship. Okay, but you know that already. All right, just a couple of things. Okay, let's cut. Okay, sorry, I like to bang the cards a little bit just to get some clear. I'm going to cut it very extreme, okay? Thank you very much. I just want to pull up a couple notes. Stay there a second. Don't go away. All right, I'm back. That was quick. All right, this would be you, your energy, your love energy. This would be a significant other, a chosen one, okay? Chosen relationships, conscious relationships, going deep into you, going deep into the other, and then we deal with the relationship itself, okay? So I'm hoping you can already see here the shape of a bowl, and the crucible is a very, very, very sturdy structure that they use in science to withstand massive pressures of alchemical reactions that happen, which is the same thing that happens in love and relationships. Massive transformational healings occur as we love ourselves and love each other and allow ourselves to be loved by the other. And this would be, let's say, prospects, okay? Over here, we're going to look at circumstantial energy, I like to call it the weather, and you, Gemini, are going to make the best of it, okay? Just because it's, not nice weather doesn't mean you're going to have a miserable day. And just because it's amazing weather doesn't mean you, by law, have to feel happy, okay? Just be you and make the best of it, evaluate it, and make the best of it. And you have this card, DEATH, which is all about transformation, especially transformational energy healing, especially at the very highest levels, vibrational healing, okay? Transformational, vibrational healing. It happens at the very deepest core soul levels, so you might not even know it's happening. So right now, Gemini, Jupiter is in Scorpio, and it's coming out of Libra, where it was for a while, harmonious for you and your relationships, but now it's in your 6th house, which is very much to do with like your health, your habits, your day-to-day practices, and there's going to be deep changes, so it's very much to do with health, and including spiritual health as well, because your physical health is very much related to your spiritual health, which is often related to how much we have put in the kitchen drawer of denial about our own self-undoing and how we've allowed ourselves to be undone by others, okay? Also, with Saturn moving into Capricorn, that's going to affect you in your 8th house of significant others when it comes to the intimacy of relationships, not just getting married and having boyfriend, girlfriend, living together, but what happens when you're deep in it and you are merging at the soul level, okay? Saturn is going to be there for the next 3 years. Saturn in Capricorn. So you're going to be tested. Okay, you're going to be deeply tested in the area of intimacy, shared resources, and the energy that happens inside of a marriage. Okay, let's have a look. So a lot of transformation is heading your way, Gemini. And transformation is a good thing. Please don't be scared of this card. It's actually a very beautiful card. If you notice the little beautiful new sunrise, the new horizons over here, after you go through the energies of transformation, sure, yeah, it might be a little scary. It might be shocking. It might be disturbing, because with that energy of that card, it can feel like things are being torn away and ripped away that you might have held dearly. Okay, and it's for your own good. Please understand that these things happen for a reason. There's no point in trying to fight the planets. They're just doing what they do. So what we need to do is obviously adapt and modify and evolve and grow accordingly. Let's have a look at you. See? Okay, coming into balance here with your resources, understanding the energy of generosity, the attitude of gratitude. So coming into and through December and coming out of December, there's going to be shifts. December is a month with a lot of shifts that are happening. And so you're going to feel it, okay? Probably face on, even perhaps head on, like that feeling of like driving along a highway and then suddenly seeing a massive wall of traffic in front of you, and there's no way out of it, no way around it. Sometimes that's how it feels in our periods of opposition throughout the year. Everybody has that. For you, Gemini, that's the energy of Sagittarius, your polar opposite, the maximum polarity, where you can have the best of things and the worst of things, because it's face on reflection. It isn't this or that or that or that. It's face on, okay? So you might be feeling it like there's a lot of pressure to bring things into balance. For you, like having to be willing to basically allow what's not working to be like shredded, like they put in paper shredders and they 1 page at a time or 3 pages at a time. Shred it, shred it, shred it, bring things back into balance. So with you, it might be a process that's going to have to go on for some time, where you align yourself with the whole notion of, first of all, being kind to yourself, like doing the work that we have to do on ourselves in order to be in balance. And if that means you need help, then get help. Like in your personal life, your physical life, your health life, financial life, joint resources, credit cards, mortgages, and you're starting to get glimpses of big changes coming up in your life, in your world, don't be scared to ask for help. There are plenty of people out there whose lives are dedicated to helping others to evolve and grow in the professional sense. And you might be the one who has a lot to offer others, but you also might be one who's really on the deserving end, where you might need, assistance from others, okay? In managing and understanding your relationship dynamics, your love relationship from any aspect. Maybe you've got an ongoing love relationship which is going through deep changes and you can feel it, but you can't understand it. Maybe you can't put words to it. Maybe you're just feeling like, what the heck is going on here, my dear beloved one? What is going on? Like, you might need their help. They might need your help going through this period here. And it might just not just be in December. It might just be that is a theme that is coming to light here in December, where you reach that maximum energy of polarity in the context of a loving relationship, where you're at each other face on. It's literally like two loved ones face on, okay? And what do you see, okay? And if you are with a loved one who is reflecting back to you that, honey, you need help. You're in trouble, which means we need help. Because if you're in trouble, that means we're in trouble. It means I'm in trouble. And that's not going to happen, okay? So it's the attitude of gratitude, realizing that it might be an idea to, let's just say, wake up to the seriousness of what's happening in love and relationships here, and take a deep breath and then go with it. Allow yourself to receive help and generosity and kindness, and be willing and be prepared to offer help, kindness, and generosity as well, if that is what is called for here in the situation. Let's have a look at the other. Okay, they might be just, they're holding on, handling it. This is card of courage, and it's a 7 here. I don't know much about the numerology, but I feel it's good energy for you, Gemini, with a partner here, where if there are, let's say, dynamics that are happening in your relationship right now in December, like you might notice it really around the full moon, the Gemini moon and the Sagittarius sun, and then later in December, the full-on Sagittarius new moon, you really might feel it where the relationship dynamics between yourself and a significant other are really getting strained to the maximum. And they might be feeling it as well. Okay, they might be feeling it from multiple angles, not just the relationship, but their whole life. There might be multiple aspects of challenges that are, let's say, putting your significant other in a position where they are having to, let's say, maintain their status quo, their integrity, their honor, their strength, and they're doing what they have to do. And a lot of this is about just doing that for themselves as an individual, but it's also about the relationship too. My feeling here is that they're doing what they can to cope with what's happening in the relationship. Like if there are serious, let's say, imbalances happening with you, and they are very evident in three-dimensional, worldly, material worlds, uh, manners, then it puts them on the spot where like they don't have a choice except to figure out how to deal with it and how to handle it. But that's what people do in loving, committed relationships. Like if this is you, Gemini, and you're having a hard time and it's becoming very evident that there's some bumpy patches coming up ahead, and you are with a loving, committed relationship and they do love you, you have to understand that it might not feel very romantic when this stuff happens, because it might be, in a state where you are struggling just to get on and be you, and that puts strain on the relationship, which means it can't just be party time for them. It means the significant other has to act in such a way that the most, loving thing to do is to like defend and protect the status quo and be as strong as they can for themselves, which is very, very important in order to be strong enough for the relationship itself. So you can get some of this love back, but it looks challenging at the moment. Okay, that's all I'm saying, Gemini. All right. So let's have a look deeper inside of you. Okay, more pentacles. So I don't want to relate this to money, but it's hard to not notice the eighth house energy, Saturn and Capricorn coming up, which can relate to issues of joint finances and stuff. So if you are in a love relationship, Gemini, and it's, got some issues of instability where you can feel big shifts and changes and transformations happening. You notice it in the circumstances. Maybe neither of you are talking about it. Maybe you're just like being who you are, trying to get through and get by, and they're just trying to get through and get by, okay? Balancing it out. But at the same time, the issues that need to be faced are not being faced. And so what can happen is it can feel as though fate is taking over and ripping things to pieces, uh, leaving you with, let's say, broken shards of relationships, of a relationship that can be hard to piece together or put together or understand, because there's not the conscious participation in the relationship itself. And so the energy of what we call fate takes over. And anytime you abdicate your obligation, well, not obligation, your privilege of making decisions about how to live your life in a very healthy way in the context of this crucible, every time you put something on autopilot and take your love relationship for granted, you are guaranteeing that something is going to go wrong later on. That's all. So right now, deep inside with the Four of Pentacles here, you might be just struggling to hang in, struggling to hold on to what exists, what you know already as the foundations and the structure of your relationship. And yet at the same time, you're feeling this like irreversible wave. It's like it's coming at you and there's nothing you can do about it. So the energy here of like hunkering down, just trying to hold the balance, hold the status quo, that's understandable. But things are going to shift anyway. It doesn't matter, like if you think of this card in terms of Pluto, Pluto is associated with this card. And how Pluto doesn't care about what it just does what it does. And Pluto energy is typically involved in very large scale mass energy fields like the movement of tectonic plates, the movement of global financial currency fluctuations, the movement of migrations of people and massive historical events. We've got January 2020 coming up, which is going to be a global recycling event for 1776 in the United States. So go figure. And that's coming up very soon. Well, January 2020. So the energy of stability, wanting foundations, wanting stability, seeking stability, wanting to maintain structure and order. It might be, very, very important to you right now, which is understandable because relationships do need structure and they do need order and they do need maintenance and they do need time and energy and resources invested into the relationship in order for the relationship to endure. It just looks like things are kind of shaky at the moment. Let's have a look at the other. Okay. With more wands here, my feeling is that no matter what shakiness might be going on, there's enough love going on in the relationship here where there's a significant other who understands it, who gets you. To some extent, it's like, it's okay. It's okay, honey. I get it. I know you're under a lot of pressure. This can be perhaps some of the toughest times of the year for you in terms of astrological oppositions and all that stuff that Tarot Lumination was talking about. But it doesn't mean it's the end of us just because you're having a rough time. And then you say, oh, wow, okay, thank you so much. I'm really glad you're still there because I'm really having a bumpy time and I can sense bumpy times coming with all that stuff he talked about with, Jupiter and Scorpio. Yeah, it's good. It's all about healing, but I don't want to be healed. I don't even want to know that I'm hurting. But it's very important to be healed. So thank you for staying close to me, my sweet. Okay. And also with Saturn and Capricorn coming, it's you like saying, okay, we've come so far. I hope you got the gumption to hang in with me for the next, chapter of our lives together. And they go, don't worry, I'm here. In fact, I'm turned on by this. This is an opportunity for me to be the best I can for you. Okay? Because I might need you in that manner one day too. Okay? And then you go, woo, wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Because that's what I'm sensing here with the Ace of Wands. It's the energy of opportunity, the energy of sacred opportunity, where a significant other, they're just living their lives as an individual, but they're aware in the context of the relationship that there are a few shaky things going on, and there's going to be a deep rumbling that could shake the foundations of the relationship from your perspective, which is going to have, of course, a reciprocal impact on the significant other. But it doesn't look like they're fazed by it. It's almost like they see this as a new opportunity. Luckily, because that's what I see here too. Because when you take this card here and you see the positive in it in terms of healing, deep, deep, profound soul transformational healing, then that becomes a golden opportunity. The thing is that this is your reading about you and your love relationship, and we're mentioning a significant other over here. And this is the energy that's prevailing over you right now. So, yeah, what I just mentioned about their perspective of what's happening in the relationship, sure, but that doesn't make it any easier for you to handle the process of living through transformational healing at the profound soul level because of what it feels like in the body when you're big chunks of your life or lots of little chunks in a row get surgically removed in order to heal, because you have to reveal it to heal it, because I think that's what's happening here in the context of this relationship. And it can be an uncomfortable process, but ultimately it's about healing. It's like, going to the dentist and, maybe you need a root canal. Who goes to the dentist for fun? Who goes to get a root canal as a fun weekend project? I don't know anybody. But it's like something you have to do, okay? It's accepting that there is deep transformational healing that has to occur, and it is happening. So face it and walk into it and allow it to happen. And you've got somebody noble and courageous at your side, Gemini. So you're very lucky in that regard. That's what I feel here. Let's have a look at the core itself. Okay. With the Seven of Swords here, It's really, really, really important for you, Gemini, especially because we've got Mercury retrograde coming up here. I forgot to mention that. And that's your ruling planet. And it's kind of, it's almost might feel like it's working against you. So it could be extremely easy in the context of this relationship to say the wrong thing at the wrong time for the wrong reasons to the wrong person, which might not go down very well. It can also be an indication here that if you like panic or get stressed out by these big shifts that you might feel that are happening to you, like the shifting of tectonic plates, it can make you freak out and make you feel like I just want out of this. I want to get out of here. I just want to grab what works, grab what I can, and get out of here, which is an abdication. It's an abandonment of the love and the relationship. It's understandable if you're under a lot of stress, but it's not, healthy for the relationship. And you might just be struggling to try and grab what you can and get out while you can so you don't get burned. But that would be an indication that you are trying to avoid the transformation and the surgical processes of incrementally removing like whatever is unhealthy, literally like removing this. I don't want to use creepy words like warts or zits or, organ parts or whatever, but I'm trying to get across the idea that in the dynamics of the relationship, because this energy can be so like, it's like that traffic jam energy that I talked about earlier. Like you see this massive wall of traffic and you think, well, what am I supposed to do? I want to get out. I want to cut out, turn reverse, go back down a side road and see if I can wiggle around. But there's no way out of this. It's just the only way out is through. So it's just a question of accepting that these big shifts and changes, especially the Saturn and Capricorn thing, is going to be a long, arduous transformational period. And so be it. You will learn a lot and grow from this, but you might have a very, very strong urge to get out of it and avoid it and escape the process. In other words, I don't want to deal with this. And that energy here would be, I feel, dominantly your own, because I don't feel that from the significant other here. I feel that they see this whole situation as an opportunity, not just for you to grow and evolve, but for them as well in the context of this relationship. Let's have a look over here. Okay, see? With the Ace of Swords, more opportunity. And like I would feel, to me, it feels like bringing things into alignment where, like, yeah, sure, this could be stressful for you. This could relate directly to healing um, events, experiences, uh, practices, and the learning of all of that has to go on in that certain part of your life. Maybe you need to go on like a healing regimen, like take some yoga classes, do some stretching things, do some kind of uh, a lot more self-care and health-care, bring things back into harmony with yourself, and don't stress so much about how everything could fall apart, could or would, but to see the whole new situation as an opportunity for growth and renewal and coming into a much fuller, smarter, wiser understanding, you know. So, in other words, that Sagittarius energy, instead of feeling like an enemy, it can become your best friend. You know, when people get married, the maximum classic opposition is the polarity. So for you, Gemini, that would be, for example, a Sagittarius. So Sagittarius may at one time, in one way, be the hardest possible relationship you could have, but it can also be the most rewarding because that's where you get maximum 180-degree, full-on, clear reflection, which, sure, it puts the relationship under a lot of stress, but that's the pressure. The whole idea of chosen relationships is to create an environment where this can turn into this and then go back to this in a gentle way. And it brings you to much higher levels of wisdom and understanding. If you pretend this is like the wisdom and higher consciousness and knowledge and awareness of Sagittarius energy coming down to you in your day-to-day life, where you start to own it and know it now, where you can speak it, you can listen to it, you can be the teacher of this stuff. You don't have to be the seeker anymore. and you learn it in the context of a loving relationship, okay? So please see this as an evolutionary journey in the context of a loving relationship, okay? Thank you so much, Gemini. Please make the, oops, hold on, let's just do this. Stay there, don't go away. I just want to put this there so you can have a view, and you can reinterpret this however you want, okay? Make it work for you, okay? And do your cross-watching for your loved ones too. Shh, I won't tell anybody. Bye. Bye. Happy holidays. Happy Christmas. Bye. Happy all of that stuff. Bye.